Hello and welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name's Angela and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Rainbow Ange, and we also have a Facebook page, an Instagram account, and obviously this YouTube channel for my little shop, which is called Yarn and Yarns. We're based in Penarth, which is in South Wales in the UK, just outside of Cardiff. Thank you for coming back and joining me today. You're very welcome if you have visited me before, or if you are tuning in for the first time. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. Here on the channel you'll find videos which consist of me chatting away about my projects, knitting, crochet, sometimes a bit of spinning and sewing, and also some chatter about my adventures of being a new, or I should say relatively new now, yarn shop owner. It's been 7 months since I've taken over the shop. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say. It seems crazy to me that it's been that long, but there you go. So yeah, up to this point I've been trying to alternate a little bit by doing a sort of what I'm working on video, followed by a what's going on in the shop video. So of course, as soon as I sit down and chat to you, the phone rings and I've completely lost my train of thought. I think I was saying that up until this point I've been doing videos which are about my makes, interspersed with videos about what's going on in the shop. As things have calmed down a little bit in the shop and I'm not changing so many things, you know, on a week-to-week basis, I think from here on in I'll probably just do a mixture. I would imagine that it'll be mostly about the things that I'm making, but of course that is often tied in with what's going on in the shop, because I often make samples and things for window displays and stuff, so I think it will be a bit of a mixture. But today I thought I would actually start, because I haven't done a shop update video for a while. I thought I'd show you, we've had some lovely new things in recently, so I thought I'd do a quick segment at the start about some of the new stock that we've got in the shop, and then I'll go on to chat about the things that I've been making. If the shop site doesn't interest you, then if I remember, I shall put either on the screen or down below a timestamp where you can skip to, which will be me chatting about my projects, if that's what you are mostly interested in. So yeah, hopefully you'll find this somewhat interesting. Let me know what you think about the sort of mixture, having things sort of mixed in together. If the shop side of things doesn't interest you, then let me know, and perhaps in the future I'll stick that sort of stuff at the end, so that you can watch up to the point that you're interested in and then switch me off. Okay, so what I wanted to chat to you about is a couple of new lovely books that we have in, and also I think I'll talk to you about 2 new yarns. I'm pretty confident that I haven't chatted about these because I haven't done one of these videos for a while, but at the moment I don't have time to pop back and watch the last shop update video, so you'll have to forgive me if I am repeating myself. So anyway, as usual, we're already, you know, like 5 minutes in and I'm waffling. If you've been here before, you know what I'm like. And now you're seeing my giant big head as I reach across the table to grab the books that I want to show you. I have 2 publications by Rowan that I want to show to you, and also 2 publications by Pom Pom. And if you have joined me before, you know that I love Pom Pom, who publish magazines and pattern books independently here in the UK. Fabulous publications. But anyway, first the Rowan. I have got 2 lovely new books. They're both by Martin Storey, who if you have followed Rowan Yarns, you'll know that he designs a lot of patterns and things for Rowan. But the first one is a lovely book which is called Learn to Knit Cables. It's I think this is going to be one of those days where as soon as I start chatting to you, either the phone goes or a customer comes in. Obviously I'm not going to complain about being busy, but I am apologising to you if this video is a little bit disjointed. So what I was saying, I was telling you about the Learn to Knit Cables book by Martin Storey. It's quite a skinny little publication, but it does have really nice, beautiful layout. I'll show you. Obviously I'm not going to show you any of the patterns, but if I just show you sort of inside, it shows you the contents, and there's a picture of a project there just to show you how nicely it's laid out and the beautiful photography. So there are 3 projects that you can knit in here. So there's there's a pair of wrist warmers, the scarf that you could see in the picture there, and also a cushion, and it just takes you through some really simple cable patterns and gives you some tips and tricks on how to knit cables. So if that's something that you know, people are interested in, but are feeling a little bit daunted, this is a really nice book to get you started. And then once you're started on your cable adventures, if you want to progress, there is another book by Martin Storey which is called Easy Cable Knits. This one's a little bit thicker. It's got plenty of projects in. Let me just see if I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 10 projects. There are garments, cushions, accessories. It's got a bit of everything, and there are some absolutely beautiful patterns in here. I think pretty much everyone who's picked up this book has found 1 or 2 things that they love. I particularly love this cardigan here with simple cable motif down the front. That's called the Lynx cable cardigan. Another one that seems to have piqued a lot of people's interest is this one called the Cable Edge Jacket. This shape at the moment seems to be very popular. I've seen quite a few patterns coming through that have got that sort of shaping to them. And there's also this beautiful shawl which is called the Corkscrew Cable Shawl. So that pattern retails for £12.99, which I think is pretty good value for 10 patterns. And again, as you've seen, beautifully photographed and laid out. Instructions are very clear. So yeah, those are the 2 new publications that I have in from Rowan. And as I mentioned, I also have 2 from Pom Pom. So I have the new Pom Pom Quarterly, which is called Vivid Winter, and this arrived in store just yesterday. As usual, beautiful quality. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Pom Pom. It's my favourite publication. So if you've not bought Pom Pom before, they the way they publish or tend to lay out their magazines, they're always in this nice sort of A5 handbag size publication, which is great. It's easy to sort of pop in your purse and carry around with you. They have a theme for each of their magazines, and then designers can submit patterns along that theme, and then obviously they pick the ones that they enjoy to go into the publication. And yeah, as per usual, it's a lovely mixture of accessories and garments. So beautiful hats, there's a pair of socks in here as well, beautiful jumpers. Yeah, so again, I just love Pom Pom, and I think there's sort of something in there for everyone really. They tend to have a really nice mix of projects which are fairly basic, and then some which have like really interesting kind of constructions and colours in there. So yeah, that gives you a flavour of what's in the latest edition of Pom Pom. And then the thing that I was most excited to receive is this gorgeous publication, again from Pom Pom Press. It's called Knitting Outside the Box, and inside are lots and lots of patterns by Bristol Ivy. This is the most expensive publication that Pom Pom have released to date. It's a gorgeous hardback book, and it is £29.99, so it's not the cheapest thing that you'll buy, but the quality is exactly what you would expect from Pom Pom. The photography is absolutely gorgeous. There are tons of patterns in here. There's also, you know, a long introduction. The chapters sort of progress through the book, and at the beginning of each, I think Bristol talks about her ideas and inspirations. If I just read the blurb on the back cover for you, it gives you a flavour of what they're aiming for with this book. So it says, drawing on what inspires her most, Bristol Ivy shares the possibilities that she finds inherent in knit fabric, utilising exercises she uses in her life as a designer. Bristol encourages knitters to make their own rules and push their creativity by asking what if. Including 15 patterns for both accessories and garments, knitting outside the box is essential reading for the adventurous knitter. So yeah, even you know, there are, what am I trying to say? I don't think you necessarily have to be a super adventurous knitter. There are some really nice kind of reasonably straightforward patterns in here for accessories. I'm going to try and show you. So there's, for instance, beautiful mitts. They are called the Mayaloo mitts. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. There are fantastic shawls. Let me show you that one. This is called the car shawl. It's got beautiful lace panels, but other than that, simple garter stitch. There's just some really interesting kind of constructions. So there's another shawl there. That one's called the Harjo shawl. There are also, which I can't show you because I don't want to give away any sort of directions, but there are also patterns for different types of stitches. So there's kind of like a mini stitch dictionary in the middle of this. So if I just show you the cover shot for that. So yeah, a great way for people to really get a feel for the processes that a designer goes through, and there's also plenty in here to inspire if people want to experiment with textures and cables and things like that. So yeah, just a really, really great book. I have one more thing that I want to show you before we finish this segment. I'm hoping that my phone battery will last. I forgot to put my phone on charge last night, so I've just had a note flash up to say that my battery is on its way out, but hopefully I'll have time to show you this. I just wanted to show you a couple of new types of yarn that we've got in store. First off is a yarn from Stylecraft. It is their batik swirl yarn, and it comes in cakes like this. Lots of yarn companies are coming out with these sort of swirly cakes, which is really fun at the moment. This one is particularly good value. It is £9.95 for 200 grams of double knit, and it comes in 6 fun colourways. So there's this rainbow one, there's this one which is called Poppy Field, so it's got the greens and the pinks and the yellow. There is Stargazer, which is pinks and greens, and then we have Purple Mist, which is greys and purples. Blue Ocean, blues and greens, and then the final one is called Foxglove, which is lovely pinks and purples. There's a great range of pattern support to go with those, so garments, accessories, and as well as the great price on this yarn, so £9.95 for 200 grams. It also comes with a free crochet pattern if you purchase any of the yarn, and the pattern is for, I think it's got a cowl, some mitts and something else. Let me just grab it rather than guess. So this is the free pattern. So as I said, a cowl, a pair of mitts and also a scarf. But there's also plenty of other interesting sort of patterns. So there's garments, there's cushions, there's garments for kids, and the girl on this these patterns is just so cute. Look at that fun little hat that she's got on. There are a couple of kids patterns, and also another accessories pattern. Finally, it's another jumper there. Sorry for the glare on the plastic. So yeah, that's the Stylecraft Batik swirl. And the final new thing for the shop that I want to chat to you about before I finish this section is another new yarn, and this is the one that I can't remember if I've spoken to you about before. It's a gorgeous British yarn, which just makes my heart sing, and it's from Erica Knight, upside down, and it is called, oh no, not upside down, sorry. I think I may be upside down today. British Blue 100, and it's 100% Blue Face Leicester, made, produced in Yorkshire, here in the UK. It comes in a range of lovely colours. At the moment I've got 4 colours in. So I've got this gorgeous sort of plummy purple, there's a silver grey, a sort of tealy green colour, and mustard. I've got a couple more colours coming in with that soon. It's proving to be quite a popular yarn. It's got a nice range of patterns. I haven't ordered them all wrong shop, sorry. I haven't ordered all of the patterns, but it comes with quite a nice range of pattern support. The ones that I have got is this lovely jumper called Virginia with a sort of sloping cable down the front, and it also has an asymmetrical hem. Love that one. There are these beautiful mitts which have got this really sweet embroidered detail on. One of my customers has knit these, and they are so fabulously soft and lovely. These are definitely on my to knit list. There is a shawl called Constance, which is a lovely lace shawl. And then this might be my favourite of the lot. I just love the shape and I love the detail. It's called Angelica, and it is a cabled short sleeve jumper, and I love pieces like this that you can sort of layer over a shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt. So this is definitely on my to knit list. I just need to choose what colour and find an extra few hours in the day so that I can actually cast one on. This I might treat myself. This could be my Christmas Day cast on. I like to cast on a nice sort of new project for me, so I'm thinking this might be the one. But that's it for now, for everything that I wanted to chat to you in the shop update section. I shall be back. I'm not sure if it will be later today. Our evenings are getting much darker, so yesterday by the time I got home from work it was pitch black, so I don't know if I'll have enough light to record and chat to you about my works in progress. If I can't do it today when I get home, it probably isn't going to be until Friday. We're on Tuesday today. It probably isn't going to be until Friday until I've got decent light and the time to record that, but for you it will hopefully only be a quick changeover, but I'll probably be in a different outfit. Oh, I guess I should probably talk to you about what I'm wearing before I finish this segment, as it's likely that I might have something else on when you next see me. So this is my contour shawl. I made this earlier on in the year. The pattern is by Joanna Scrace. It's part of the crochet project, which if you're a crocheter, no doubt you have heard of, and they've just brought out some spectacular new patterns as well. I made mine from a combination of Noro yarn, which is the green, and Rowan Summer Light Cotton. So yeah, I made that earlier on in the year. I used it as a shop sample for a little while, and I had lots of customers requesting to know where the pattern came from. So I think around this area there are probably quite a few contour shawls now, which is fantastic. So yeah, that really is it from me for now, and I shall see you in a second. Hi, I have finished a pair of socks, and I thought I'd quickly film a video clip because they will be going to their new home later on today. I don't think I've shown these as a work in progress before. I think I've started and finished them since last recording, though I'm not entirely sure. These are a pair of socks for one of my lovely customers. I believe I've spoken to you about her before. She loves wearing hand knit socks. She has problems with her feet, but she also has a few problems with her hands, so she's not able to knit with finer gauge yarns. Holding the needles just irritates her health issues too much. So I love socks, as you know, so I'm more than happy to knit them for her. This will probably be the last pair. She wants me to knit a few more pairs for her, but this will probably be the last pair I do for her for a little while. I've got, I think I've decided 3 pairs of socks to knit for Christmas presents, so I need to crack on with those, seeing as we're only about 6 weeks away from Christmas, which is just ridiculous, isn't it? But anyway, these are the socks. I don't have them on blockers, but they have been washed and blocked. So as you can see, there's 2, and they're a nice purple, pink stripes. This is an opal yarn. I've got the leftovers here. It was from the Sweet and Spicy 2 range, so I'll just show you the label for that quickly. And this particular colourway is 8615. So yeah, I think they've knit up quite nicely, and I'm hopeful that she will be pleased with them when she receives them later. My only concern is I think I might have knit these slightly too big, not in terms of foot length particularly, but just the circumference. Usually for her I knit, if I'm knitting on 2.5 needles, I knit 64 stitches. If I've grabbed a pair of 2.25, I knit 68, and for these I accidentally grabbed the 2.5 and cast on 68, so they're slightly bigger than they normally would be. So I guess 4 stitches is probably just under half an inch. But she does have really poorly feet, and her toes are quite misshapen, so I'm hoping that these will still be okay and won't be too baggy. I'm fairly confident they'll be fine. So yeah, I knit these on my 2.5mm carbons, 80 centimeters. I always knit my socks one at a time. I did 2x2 rib for about 12 rounds, 50 rounds on the leg. I put in some waste yarn for an afterthought heel, and then I usually knit about 65 rounds before I start decreasing for the toe. So yeah, finished object. That should be on its way to its new home later on today. I've also finished one other object this week, and it was the little mustard baby cardigan that I've been knitting on. Unfortunately, I forgot to do a video before I gave that to its new owner, but I will pop in a picture here. And it turned out quite sweet. It was basically a broken rib cardigan. It's turned out nice and chunky and cozy, so I'm hopeful that the little boy that it's going to, he should receive that at the weekend. My friend who I have been knitting those for is off to visit her family at the weekend, so she's taken a great big pile of hand knits with her, so I might even get to see some pictures of him wearing some of the things that we've been making, so yeah, that should be really fun. But it was a really fun pattern. There's not too much to say about it. It was a Sirdar pattern. I think I showed it in the previous video, and I knit the cardigan, I think is on 4mm needles if I remember rightly, and I would have used my Knit Pro Symphony interchangeable set, and I used Debbie Bliss Mia yarn, which is a wool cotton blend. Sadly it's now discontinued. I still have about 5 colours left in the shop, but I think I'm waiting for some new Debbie Bliss yarn to come in. Hopefully it should be here in the next couple of days. So I'm thinking what's left of the Mia on the shop floor will come across into my sale basket. So yeah, the Mia's quite a nice yarn, so there should be hopefully a couple of people who will grab a bargain later on this week when I stick that in the sale basket. So yeah, I'm sure I shall be back again soon with some more finished objects and works in progress. Morning guys, it's Friday, and I was hoping to record the rest of my video today, so chatting about all of my current works in progress, and I have a couple more finished objects to show you, but this morning just zoomed by and I didn't have time to gather all my whips and things from home and bring them into the shop so that I could chat about them. So I'm just going to record a quick segment now because I do have one work in progress here in the shop that I don't take backwards and forwards because of the amount of yarn that's involved. So I thought I'd quickly show you that whip, and then hopefully I shall get an opportunity on Sunday to record the rest of the video. So the project that I've got is a crochet project. I think I have shown it briefly on a previous video when I first started it. So it's the Persian Tiles blanket, which is a pattern by Janie Crow, but I am doing the Eastern Jewels version, and Stylecraft Yarns recently brought out a kit. So the Persian Tiles blanket has been reimagined by a lady called Lucia Dunn, and it's in all these lovely bright colours, and I just fell in love with it as soon as they announced that this was coming out. I started it straight away as soon as the kits arrived, but to be honest it's been on the back burner a little bit, so I'm almost 2 rows through now, which is why I thought I'd show it to you, because I think I've made reasonable progress since you last saw it. I'm just going to, don't think it's, so it's quite a small blanket. I would say it's a lap blanket more than anything else. So it consists of 4 rows of 4 of these big octagon blocks. So I'm just going to, you'll have to excuse the ends, obviously. I have woven in a lot of the ends, but there's ends that I can crochet in when I get to the border. So this is the top row, so it starts with that greeny one, goes to the pink, and then that deep fuchsia colour, and then there is a sort of greeny one on the end, and then down to the second row there is a peachy block, the blue block, and then the block that I put on last night is the yellow. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get it all in the picture for you. Oh, I'm stretching up as far as I can, but it's just too big. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. So I decided, rather than make all of the octagon blocks and then go back and do the bits, I'd actually make a row at a time and then also make the sort of filler bits. So I popped on the corners and then the triangles to fill out that top row, and then I also made a few of the squares to go in, and the 2 side triangles as well. So I've got one more block to finish until I complete that second row, and then I can make some more of the filler pieces. As I've been going along, I've also been starting some of the other big octagons, so as there's quite a lot of colour change, no 2 blocks are made of the same colours in the same order, if that makes sense. So as there's so many colour changes, I've been going through and so if I show on here, so for instance I recently made this one, so when I got to the Storm Blue, I was looking at the future blocks to see if I was at a point where I could also add in Storm Blue on any of the others. So I've got lots of partially made pieces in a bag, so I'm hoping that from here on in progress will be reasonably quick. But I'm really only working on it about once a week at the moment, on Wednesdays in my crochet class, so I am thinking that maybe not this weekend, because I've still got some bits that I want to make for sort of like a Christmassy festive window, but maybe after that I should take the kit home and crack on with it. I'm just going to grab the basket of all the yarn. So yeah, I've got this huge basket, bigger than my head, whoops, which is full of the yarn for this project. So this is why I haven't really been taking this project home, because it's quite a lot of yarn to cut backwards and forwards, and you need all of the colours all of the time. So it's a great value kit. For £30 you get all of the yarn you need, the colour chart, and if you need it, a copy of the original pattern. So yeah, it's a great value kit, and it's yeah, I'm so much enjoying it. I just wish I had a little bit more time to work on it. But yeah, that's where I am with the Eastern Jewels version of the Persian Tiles blanket. Hi guys, it is a rather grey, gloomy and rainy Monday here in South Wales. I was hoping that I might have recorded a final segment for my video yesterday, but this week I only had Sunday off. Often I am able to take Saturday or at least Saturday afternoon off, but I had a group in the shop on Saturday afternoon. They visit once a month, so I was here and for the whole day. So yeah, yesterday was my only day off, and I really didn't feel like gathering my stuff and recording. So today I have brought some things to the shop that I finished. So this is going to be the rest of my finished object segment, and then probably tomorrow morning I shall record my works in progress segment. So first off, I've got a teeny tiny little bit of sewing to show you. Although I didn't really feel like recording yesterday, my project bag section in the shop is looking a bit measly, so I thought I'd sit at the machine and do a little bit of sewing. So not too much to show you. I made a few little notions pouches, so some nice bright colourful bits of fabric for those. And I also made 3 project bags. I sold one of them already this morning before I even put it up. So I've got this one, which is kind of vintage haberdashery, so scissors and sewing machines and thimbles. And I also have one of my Blue Sheep bags left. So those got finished this weekend. Okay, so knitted and crocheted, or no, just knitted finished objects this week. I have got 3 different projects to show you. The first one is a big one. It's been on the needles for a long time, and I have finished my Sevilla wrap, or Sevilla wrap, not quite sure how you pronounce that. It was from the anniversary issue of Pom Pom magazine. It's a pattern by Thea Coleman, and I knit this lovely yarn is Eden Cottage Yarns White Fell DK, which is an alpaca yarn, and I knit it in the lichen or lichen colourway. And this thing has blocked out to be huge. I'm just going to angle you forward a bit to see if I can. So what I'm showing you now is half of the wrap. So half of the wrap is just shy of my wingspan. So when I unveil the whole thing, it goes from here across to here and again and again, and it is gorgeous. Let me just take off the shawl that I'm wearing. If I remember, I shall talk to you about that before I go, but here we go. So once, twice, 3 times round, and I've still got a nice sort of tail. So this is going to be so cozy, so cozy. I'm so pleased to have this finished. I just love the beautiful colour of this yarn. I have to admit that there are a couple of sections where I went wrong in the lace, and this, if you've watched my previous videos, you might remember me telling you that this pattern is knit on the horizontal line, so you've got 400 odd stitches per row, so didn't really fancy picking back, I attempted to drop down and fix my lace work. It did work to a degree, but you definitely can still see where the pattern's off. So I'm just going to try and find, there it is. So in this section here, I think you can see where my lace has gone wrong down the middle there. So yeah, across that bit there, there's a bit that's off there and a bit that's off there, and I think I dropped these sections down and tried to pick them up and re-knit the lace, but I think where it's gone a bit awry here is at the edge of the pattern repeat, and I think I might have got my yarn overs and things a little bit out there, but in all honesty it's one small section of this huge giant wrap, and when it's around me you can't really see. But I mean, how beautiful is that pattern? It's absolutely gorgeous. It took me a while to knit, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure, it probably went on my needles not long after Pom Pom, that issue of Pom Pom came out, but it's one of those that I enjoyed every stitch, but because the rows were so long and because it was lace all over, I had to have, you know, an hour in the evening or a couple of hours where I knew I was going to sit down, because there was no way I could sort of pause this in the middle of the row. So it didn't get worked on as frequently as some of my more straightforward projects, but yeah, I can't stop stroking. I've put this on the counter in front of me and I just can't stop stroking this lovely soft yarn. So yeah, this is going to keep me so lovely and cozy on cold days. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled, and this also means that I will be able to cast on something else from that Pom Pom issue, because I want to knit everything in that anniversary issue, but I was determined not to have more than one project at a time on the needles for that. I've been going through a phase where I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of projects, which doesn't usually happen to me. I usually quite happily have, you know, 15-20 different things that I pick up here and there, but I think maybe, you know, it's coming to the end of the year, so maybe it's that kind of in the back of my mind where I feel like I should be finishing up some things. But yeah, so I'll be glad to cast on something new from that issue of Pom Pom soon. As I've got this taken off and I'm just about to pop it back on, I'll just quickly tell you about what I'm wearing. This is my Kilias shawl. I knit it a little while ago. It's knit from two colours of Stranded Dye Works. I think it's the Oasis base, if I remember rightly, and it is Ocean Rainbow is the lovely multicoloured colour, and then I think the orange was called Falling Leaves. Yeah, so, and the pattern is the Kilias shawl, so that's that for that one. So I test knit a cowl for Zoe of Pins and Needles podcast, and she's Pins and Needles UK, I think on Instagram and Ravelry. She is bringing out a selection of designs inspired by the local area, and she lives just down the road from me in Barry Island. So when she put out a call for test knitters, I was happy to jump on that bandwagon and help her out. This pattern is now been released. It is called the Jackson's Bay Cowl, and here is my finished cowl. There's two different versions of the cowl. There is one with the button-up side, which I believe is slightly taller, and then there's also a shorter version, which ignore the ends. I wove my ends in, and then I left this in the bottom of my bag, and this end obviously I didn't do a very good job of weaving it in because it's worked itself out. What was I saying? Yeah, I believe there's a shorter version of the cowl without the buttons. So it's a gorgeous textured stitch, which mirrors the cliffs in Jackson's Bay, which inspired the design. I knit mine in Rowan Pure Life Blueface Leicester. Sadly they don't make the yarn anymore, but yeah, a lot of the other test knitters were knitting beautiful variegated, and I thought it'd be quite nice just to see what it looked like in a plain colour. I have quite a few brightly coloured shawls and cows in my wardrobe, so I thought it'd be quite nice to have something more neutral. So yeah, this is a nice natural creamy colour, and yeah, it was a joy to test knit. There's nothing complicated. It looks much more complicated than it is, but once you get into the textured pattern, then it's a real fun knit. Yeah, it's nice and squishy, and yeah, the pattern's out now, so pop on over if you fancy making your own. I'll just show you the inside as well, because that's quite fun, how the sort of textured stitch looks from the other side. So yeah, another finished object, which and I got that done in the test knit time scale, which is always nice. And finally, I have been knitting a few things for the shop. These will become part of the window display. They're a little bit tangled up now, but I have been knitting some Christmas balls. Don't know how easy it's going to be to show you these. So I've got these two. I have got one here with a snowman design. I have got a couple of snowflakey. I've left these ends on because I don't know yet whether they're going to be hanging from a tree or hanging from the ceiling or what I'm going to do with them, but the ends keep getting tangled up. So there's these two, which are more snowflakey inspired designs, and then also these two. These two I think are my favourite, particularly this one, this reindeer. Yeah, love him, he's so cute. So these are from a book by Arne Carlos. Arne Carlos, yeah, Arne Carlos. 55 Christmas Balls to Knit. I do have the book here, just bear with me a second, I'll go grab it. You may well have seen this book before, it's been out for a number of years I think. 55 Christmas Balls to Knit, and there's all manner of patterns in here, inspired by lots of different things. So there are traditional patterns, non-traditional, there's a section of animals and birds. Let's flip through and see if I can get a couple more. Choir of Angels. So yeah, the book's split into chapters, and then there are different patterns kind of inspired by the theme. So right before Christmas, yeah, so all sorts of patterns. I'll show you the back cover, there's a few more on there. So I just picked out a few. I've had this book, this is a copy here in the shop, but I've had my own copy of that book for a few years, and every year I've been meaning to get round to knitting some, but never quite got around to it. So thinking about the shop window display is a good excuse to have actually casted some of these on. They're really good for using up scraps. So for the majority of these, aside from the red, I have used scraps of Woolly Knits Blue Face Leicester double knit. So the cream, the blue, the mint and the purple, they're all Woolly Knit colours. And those were left over. About this time last year actually, I crocheted a couple of cowls using this lovely soft BFL. So those are the scraps from that. The red is a Rowan Pure Wool DK, again sadly a discontinued yarn, but it was a non-superwash wool, so I thought it would go quite well with the BFL. And then the green I've only used on this one, this 3-coloured ornament, is a Rowan Wool Cotton, and again it was just an oddball that we had left around that I thought that green went quite nicely with the red. So yeah, that's what I have been up to, and I think that is probably it for my finished objects this time. Morning, it's bright and early on Friday, and it's been a couple of days, I have to admit, since I recorded my finished object segment. I was hoping to come back and finish this quicker, but we've had a couple of busy days, so that does mean in the meantime that I thought I was going to have 2 works in progress to show you. So there's been 2 projects that have been taking the majority of my focus in the last week, but because it's taken me an extra couple of days to record this, I have actually finished one of those projects. But I'm not going to show you that today. I will wait until I record my next video. The project that I finished is my Lakeside shawl, which was being made from a beautiful skein of Miss Babs yarn that was gifted to me by my lovely friend Lisa, who is Use Your Yarn on Instagram and Ravelry. Hi Lisa, thank you so much for that yarn. I enjoyed every single stitch, but I shall chat more about that in the next video. So the only work in progress that I have to round off this video are a pair of socks. These socks I am knitting for my father-in-law for Christmas. I've not knit him socks before, but I have knit socks for James, and they have the same size feet. So I'm using the recipe that I used for James's pairs of socks, and hoping that his feet are not that much wider, therefore these will fit. So yeah, I'm using some opal yarn. I've knit 1 sock. So this is the lovely yarn. I've just used, because I wasn't sure about the size of his sort of leg and the width of his foot, I've used a 3x1 rib all the way down the leg and across the top of the foot, so that gives a nice lot of stretch. So I'm hoping that would accommodate his feet, but if not, I will open up the toe and rip back after he's received them. I am using also a heel flap and gusset for a change. I'm using the modified Eye of Partridge heel, which is part of the Hermione's Everyday sock, which is a pattern by Erica Luda, free on Ravelry. I finished the first sock, and I'm halfway through the heel flap on the second sock. I knit this last night at, well, this morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going through a few changes in our personal lives at the moment, and it's kind of disrupting both James and I's sleep pattern. Not necessarily through worry. I'm sure everything will work out, but you know how it is. You wake up in the night and then your mind starts churning over and you can't get back to sleep. So it's more about that sort of thing at the minute. But it should work itself out one way or another in the next couple of weeks, so hopefully we'll be back to normal. But in the meantime, you know, an extra hour or so knitting in the middle of the night, you know, there's always a silver lining. I might be a zombie in the day, but I get an extra hour's knitting time. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I'm keeping my lovely Moosey Progress Keeper on this project. Sadly, the lobster claw broke. I've just got him on a bulb stitch marker at the moment until I can find somewhere to get some lobster claws. I found a few places online, but obviously they don't cost that much, and then you've got, most places will charge you postage, so I'm waiting until I've got a couple of things to order from somewhere that sells those before I repair him properly. But yeah, this lovely yarn, it was one of the yarns that were, again, got slightly water damage when we had the leak in the shop. It's absolutely gorgeous. Originally I was kind of saving it for myself, because I just love these rusty autumnal colours with the blue. Oh yeah, just definitely my cup of tea. And I started knitting these and I thought, I'm going to keep them, but then I did that a couple of months ago with a pair that I was knitting for my mother-in-law, which in turn made me have to knit a whole new pair of socks. So I thought, no, I can't keep doing this. I have got to give away some of these socks. So yeah, this is an opal yarn, and I'll show you the label. I am never going to be able to pronounce this. I think it's probably a reasonably old line from Opal, so I don't know if you can get this anymore. There's some lovely sheeps on the label, and I'm not going to attempt any German. But the colourway for anyone who is interested is 7254. And I'm hoping that, because I love this so much, I might have enough left to make myself like a pair of fingerless mitts. these that I'm wearing today, I knit a couple of years ago for a cherry blossom cow on the Ichigo Abroad podcast, which is now Knitting by the Sea. I think I've got that right. Lovely podcast. I should pop over and watch that one. But yeah, I think the mitts pattern was called Beira, Beira. I could be wrong. There's a project page on my Ravelry if you want to check it out. And I knit this in, I think it was Araucania Botany lace. Yeah, again, details on Ravelry if you are interested. So yeah, I'm hoping to, I don't think I'll do anything cable-y. I think I'm kind of tempted just to make up a simple 3x1 rib for some really simple mitts if I have enough left over. So yeah, that's it. One measly work in progress. I do have others, but I haven't been giving them any love, so I'm not going to chat about those this time. I will come back to those as and when I'm working through them. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching if you've made it to the end. It's been lovely to have your company, and lots of woolly hugs to you all, and hopefully see you again soon.